started it because my doctor told me, if you don't lose weight, I'm going to schedule you for weight loss surgery. And not asked me, but told me, because he's like, you know, this is just out of control. And it was out of control, and he was right. And I was having heart issues. I could not walk. I could not have ever stood this long anywhere. And when I started the program, all I remember, I just said to myself, okay, 60 days. Who can't do 60 days? And for me, it changed my life. It gave me my life back. I was always a person that was very energetic, and I could go long hours and do things, but as the weight began to come on and the blood pressure began to go up and a lot of other things, I was diabetic, I began to find that I didn't have as much energy and was in and out the hospital. Actually, the summer I started, so I was 60, I was in the emergency room like 6 times, 7 times, from heart issues and other related things. But as I began to lose weight, and everybody's weight loss, of course, we know is not the same, but the first week I did it, I lost 10 pounds. And physically, did I feel better right at that moment? No. But it excited me because I had not lost 10 pounds in years. I could not play with my grandchildren. I'm a pastor. And I didn't tell them, but every week I came and I stood up there, it was just agony. But I did it because that's what I do. And it has taught me how to eat, what not to eat. I drove a school bus, so fast food was really my life. And I worked long hours, and so it's just easy to go through the drive-thru. You know, you get the meal, and then it's just easy. Because I didn't have time always to cook. Being on this program, I've learned, and I like to cook, I've learned again how to cook. I've learned what is healthy and what is not healthy, because everything is not always healthy for one person but another. My favorite dish, I love salmon. And I remember the first time I fixed it, on the page somebody had posted it, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try that. Because I'll be honest, I like soul food. I like fried chicken and mashed potatoes and gravy, and I'm just being real, that's just me. And I like cupcakes and cookies, and and when I tried the salmon, I remember I was like, oh, I didn't make enough. This is so good. And I think actually for 2 weeks I ate it every day. But I began to gain a love for food. And then I began to gain confidence because the more weight I lost, I remember I was not a person, I didn't want to be out there. I didn't want people to see me. And I know you're saying, oh, but you're a pastor. Yeah, well, I still didn't want to be out there. And I remember I made a video just to thank whoever created it, because it had just, I had woken up that morning, got dressed, and I was ready by 8:30. Normally, it took me 2 hours to just get dressed because my joints hurt all the time. My arm, my leg, my feet. I would go to bed with them swollen, I would wake up with them swollen, even with medication, even with all that the doctor said. And I remember waking up thinking, oh, wow, I'm dressed. And it's 8:30. What do I do now? And I surprised everybody because I ended up showing up before time, before they were expecting me, which was exciting. And then I'm like, okay, if this is only happening after 10 pounds, what's gonna happen after 20? And I began to start walking, began to engage with people all the time, and my confidence level, I have to say, has gone through the roof. And my kids are like, Mom, if we see one more picture, one more picture, because I'm always sending them pictures, and I'm like, okay, this is the face of a person that weighs this. And my son is like, okay, we get it. Because I never liked taking pictures. You know, I was always hiding in the back somewhere because I didn't like taking pictures. I didn't like engaging with people, even at church. When service was over, I wanted to go home. And so, but being on it, besides all the other stuff, it gave me a camaraderie with people, because you don't realize how many people are in your same shoes until you begin to put yourself out there and you begin to chat with people, you know, and you write posts, and then you realize you really aren't alone. that there is somebody that understands. And when I began to read people's posts about what they were dealing with their weight, then I realized I wasn't alone. And as I began to write things, then people would say, oh, wow, that helped me today. Because when you're in this society, people that are overweight, they are really ostracized. And I've heard people say, you just need to cut back, but not teach me how to cut back. You know, I've heard people say, you should do it this, but then didn't teach me. Because when you're eating like that, people don't understand. Your whole mind has to change. Because if you, like for me, I was used to eating fast food. You mean to tell me when I got the meal plan, I was like, there's no hamburgers on here. And string cheese, who eats that, you know? Because I just thought that's something you give little kids for their little snack, you know? And then celery, I will be honest, when I saw, yes, and I love it now, but when I saw that you could, for the first 5 days, you could have eggs and bacon, that's actually what sold me. I was like, okay, bacon, okay. If I can get past the 5 days, I can do this. And it has shown me a whole new way of life. A whole new way of life. Because even the people that came with me know I would have never come to this kind of event. I might have watched it at home, but I wouldn't have come. And even when one of them, her husband, saw my shoes, I never would have worn these shoes. Because I would have worn something that was real comfortable. And now I go out and I'm like, okay, I can get in regular shoes now. And I got too many shoes. Because I've lost even a shoe size. Being on Saba 60, because I always had to wear shoes that were just comfortable because I didn't want to have to stand too long. Learned how to, for me, the thing that helped me was it gave me structure. And I needed structure. Yes, and I won $2,500. They have a contest. And I actually was not intending on getting in the contest. I was like, I don't want to get in no contest. I don't want to take pictures. But I took pictures. And one of my coworkers, when I explained it to her, she's like, okay, send it in. And I'm like, no, because then what if I don't win? I'm very competitive. And she's like, well, fine, but you still won. You went 60 days and you've lost 50 pounds. So, and I remember even then, when I read my essay, because I did it 3 times, and I'm like, okay, you guys will be my test people. And when I read it, they're all sitting there crying. And I'm like, okay, don't cry. Just tell me how it sounds. And they said we were crying because we remember that person that you were describing in this essay. And I didn't realize, I used to drive a school bus. I have a new job that I never would have taken without being on Saba 60 and losing some weight. One of my kids on my bus said to me, you're different this year. This was last year. And I said, why? He said, because you're happy. And I said, well, didn't I always greet you? He's like, no, you always were nice to us. But you're happy. And why? And when I told him, and then they found out about the contest, every week they would say, did they announce it? You know? And when it was announced, the bus just went up in a roar. So for me, and I would tell anybody, and I recommend this to everybody, give yourself a chance. Never doubt the greatness that is in you. And Saba 60 will help you achieve that which you need in your life.